Turn on your mind. Been the one since a youngin', I cannot deny. Wear my heart on my sleeve, keep a gun on my side. Laying it ears to the deaf, giving sight to the blind. Ample my mind.
Yo, what's going on, guys? Episode 9, I believe, of Ample Minds podcast. We're gonna try to switch it up. I got a co-host today. This is Caesar Anavisca. Did
That's
I say your
me.
name right? Did I say your name
That's,
right?
that's I have a new name.
What? Oh, you do have
I
a
do.
new name,
Yeah,
brother.
yeah.
Let's go ahead and tell him your new name.
Yeah. Well, Caesar Estrada to be exact. You know,
That's a great story
Yeah.
to even start. Why
Yeah,
did
yeah.
why did you change your last name? If you
I
don't
think-
mind.
No, I don't
sharing.
mind at all. I don't mind at all. I think my stepdad was a very important figure in my life that I think it was just something natural that had to come about.
Yeah.
I think to honor him, I wanted to carry his name.
That's
Right.
really dope, bro.
And that's why I changed my name in. My mom was the one that, gave me that idea because I'm very close to my stepdad. So I just thought I think this is the right thing to do. And my mom helped me out,
That's
do all that process and stuff like that. And I think he really appreciated that,
that's really dope.
it takes a lot. I feel like it takes a lot of emotional, it takes a lot to call somebody who is not your biological
father.
father a dad.
Yeah, for real.
And I think I've gotten to the point where I'm a little past that line. And, I could call him, dad or bod comfortably,
Yeah. and-
without actually feeling like this motherfucker ain't my dad.
yeah.
know?
Damn, that's actually really dope. And I'm glad you
Yeah,
corrected
yeah.
me on that. That's actually a really nice
Yeah.
sentiment. If I was,
Yeah.
if he took on that role, right, and took care of your mother and accepted you as one of his own,
Yeah, exactly.
and that's beautiful.
yeah.
Man. Caesar Estrada,
Yeah, that's right, baby.
my dog. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, we're here, just trying to conversate, guys. Episode 9. I'm trying to really balance the kind of interview aspect of my podcast. So, there's some times where I just want to talk about anything.
Yeah.
And yes, this podcast is me just trying to build and understand more about other people, picking their brains and learning from other people and incorporating anything that I've learned into my daily life.
Mhm.
But that can be through just conversation also, right?
Yeah.
And just me just, sharing what I've learned with you and then vice versa.
Yeah.
And yeah, so me and Caesar have been friends since elementary school. Another person that I've known for a
Quite a
decade
while.
plus.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
crazy, and I love that I'm able to have relationships like that that's
Yeah.
lasted so long.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's super dope, man.
I think that's an important thing to have sometimes, and a lot of people aren't fortunate enough to have friends for that long.
Really though.
And I think anybody who's had a friend for that long and they've been a positive impact on them is a very lucky individual.
I agree. It's very rare to find that, and I'm lucky to have multiple people of that nature and that cloth. But yeah, nowadays, man, there's a lot of fake people out there,
Yeah,
and it's
right.
crazy.
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, I think as you grow older, you lose the chance to get to know somebody that well just because you're at work or you'd rather be with your wife or your
Yeah.
girlfriend and you don't really have time to meet new people. So when we say there's a lot of, randos out there, I feel like it's just because everybody's an acquaintance nowadays.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, as you get older, you just gain more acquaintances and
Mhm.
yeah, and then there's a possibility of those acquaintances becoming true friends. That's for sure.
Easily. Yeah, there's for sure another spectrum to that where there's some people that I've just barely met within like the last 2 years that I consider very good friends.
Yeah.
And there's just two sides to it, just the quality people that you meet sometimes,
Yeah.
And not to say that you can't meet, new friends and great friends, even best friends later down the road because
Yeah.
we are hoping to live long lives, right?
Right.
So never try to, never ruin the chance to get to know somebody else. But
Yeah.
but it's also a great feeling to know for somebody as long, It's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
a lot of things to it, right?
And I think like we were talking about earlier, and there's sometimes where the friendships like they don't last but that's only because, you've moved on to a certain thing that doesn't align with who you
You
were.
were exactly. We're
Yeah.
constantly evolving, so that friendship either has to evolve or
Mhm.
sometimes it gets left behind.
Yeah,
Whether
yeah. I mean, and
yeah,
that's okay. And
yes,
good friends know that, bro.
they really do. They really
Because
do.
some motherfuckers out there to be like, oh, so and so ain't hanging
He
out with me no
switched
more.
up. Yeah, that's the worst.
He's 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 all this and that
Yeah,
now.
he changed.
Yeah,
He act like he don't know nobody no more.
yeah,
Nah,
yeah,
man. It's just like
exactly.
we got priorities, right?
Yeah,
We got things we got to do.
yeah,
And right now our values don't align or our goals don't align. So
right,
we gotta put ourselves in the best position to reach our goals.
exactly.
Right? And a true friend will be like, yo, I
That,
support you and I'll
yeah,
see you when I see you.
yeah,
And then
yeah.
when I see you, we're gonna value that time.
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
He's
Because
just doing
time
what
is
he's doing.
precious. Yeah, time is precious, man. Just instead of hating, just if you guys get a chance to hang out, go ahead and value that time because time past is gone forever.
That's true.
Right? So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's that kind of mindset you gotta always take with you when you're just, being in the moment.
Yeah, and I think like just because even if your life doesn't align with theirs and you're not as close to them anymore, there's always like, hey, let's just catch up.
Yeah,
Let's go
that's all
for a
you gotta
fucking
do.
walk at the park, get some coffee or some shit, you
Quick
know?
gym sesh. That's how we
Yeah,
get. That's how we
that's
keep this friendship strong, man.
yeah,
Hey,
bro.
Chief Nation. I see you ended your semester. Where are you at?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Let's go to the
exactly.
gym.
Yeah, once school's finished, then I'm back.
Back
Yeah,
outside.
exactly. I get some fresh air here and there. But yeah, I think it's important to keep your old friends close
Yeah,
because um they could really tell you something that some people can't.
absolutely. Yeah, because they
And
seen you grow.
yeah, and like with this podcast, you've mentioned to me in the beginning, you're like, hey, like, what do you think's going on?
Absolutely.
And I give you my honest opinion, bro.
100%,
Like,
man.
I
Great,
know that,
great, great, great advice. Great
yeah, like
criticism.
I knew that you weren't gonna be like, oh, this motherfucker's just
Yeah,
kicking my ass right
imagine I was
now.
like, "What do you know?"
Yeah, yeah,
Nah,
like
man,
who
never
the
that.
fuck are you,
Yeah,
Caesar?
no, Caesar, ain't no way, bro. Yeah, bro,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
such a smart dude,
No,
and
no, no.
I appreciate any criticism you have, or just constructive, because it's I know for the fact it's for the betterment of me and my progression.
Right, yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
I just want to see success, bro. Like if I could have a
absolutely.
successful friend, then that's
That's
plus one for
yeah,
me.
right, man. You take
Yeah,
care.
yeah.
Live
I
that
mean,
life.
I'm grateful for every person that I meet, just because I consider myself like the luckiest individual ever, just because I surround myself with beautiful people.
Yes,
Um,
great way to put it.
and there's a lot of people that have steered me into the path that I think has been the best for me. And every person that I've met throughout my life has really guided me through the most optimal path, even though if it might have been a little bit hard for myself to do it. I think the people that I have surrounded myself with have kind of pushed me into that thing that I was looking for,
Okay,
you know?
that's dope.
And I think it's like they say, you are your friends,
Yeah, yeah.
who you hang out
You
with.
are who you surround yourself with, right?
Yeah,
You can
exactly.
only be at that whatever ceiling the best person around you is. That's probably your ceiling. Or if if
Right.
you're smarter than 95% of the people around you, that's probably where you're gonna be capped off at. You always want to be with people who are creative or around the same kind of goals as you, and just give you the positive vibe because just like your body is your temple, you are what you eat, you are who you hang around with,
Yeah. And you
right?
know what's interesting? I think they always say, don't compare yourself to others, but what are you doing when your friends are where you want equality or you want to be a you want to get better at a category that your friend is better at,
Yeah, and it can honestly
right?
just be like healthy competitive nature, or just
Mhm.
wanting what's wanting what's best for you. And if you feel like you can surround yourself with people that are just at a higher level than you can only do but the only thing you can do is grow
Yeah.
in that sense and stuff like that. And sometimes you just want what we want what's a attainable if you see it, right? If I see right,
Yeah,
that's what I'm trying to really
exactly.
get. That's hard for me to get it out there. But yeah, if you
Yeah,
see something that's attainable,
right.
why not go ahead and get it,
Right.
right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that's the goal of having that support system around you.
that's a very good point because I think a little thing that I go by was like if somebody stupider than me did it, then I could do it.
Right? Low-key,
You
that's a
know,
good way to put it. That's a
like
great way to put it, bro.
I feel like I know there was some dumbass out there that was way dumber than me that did this shit, so I could do this
Yeah,
shit. You
man,
know what
and
I'm saying?
that's where you just gotta pull from, okay, how did they
Yeah.
do it? Sometimes they just did it with sheer will,
Yeah, bro.
straight up just, "I'm gonna do this."
Yeah,
And he
exactly.
probably fucking stumbled his way there, but he got there, So
Yeah.
that's a.
It's it's something to consider, always yeah, I was thinking that anybody could do it.
Easily.
Anything, really.
Yeah, I believe though. I believe that
But
100%.
of course, uh, guaranteed success, I don't know, but you could always do it,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
absolutely. It's a lot of factors, right? That's
Yeah.
something that we can get into, in
Yeah.
terms of maybe a certain amount of luck, certain
True.
opportunity comes away. You make sure to be prepared
Mhm.
and stuff of that nature. But yeah, I mean, anything's possible. Just the right support system is a lot that goes into it. A lot of people that do well for themselves will tell you it's they didn't do it alone, right?
Yeah.
So that's just kind of what you just want to eventually turn either your friend group around into a place of support and a place
Mhm.
of constant progression and constant growth.
Alright. And what do you think you could do if you're not in the position of having, you know, good friends to guide you in the right place and you've never, stumbled across somebody who is a role model for you?
That is a great question. That's actually that's very common.
Yeah.
I think, I know a couple of people that don't really have that good support system, that friend group. But I think it stems from, one, not being self-aware,
Right.
and two, a lot of insecurities with that one person in itself.
Uh-huh.
So I feel like a lot of people are very afraid to just be by themselves and learn themselves first.
Right.
Because how gains even started
Uh-huh.
was a bunch of insecure people just wanting to belong to something, or
Right.
just bad people taking advantage of these people that are insecure and just want to be a part of something. So it's easier to manipulate
Right.
somebody to join a gang, and they're just out here doing bad shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a matter of, if you're not around the people that you feel that can progress you, one, you gotta pinpoint it,
Uh-huh.
and one, change yourself first. And no matter how long it takes for you to be alone, eventually you'll attract the right people in your circle if you emulate that, right?
Mhm.
That's the big thing.
Do you think it's like, because let's say you didn't have that person to guide you and you didn't have anybody, right? Do you think it's something that a person is born with to have that will,
You know
even
what?
if they never see anything, if they
Yeah,
live in a shitty ass position?
I'm reading a book about that. It's called Habits,
Uh-huh.
and it's basically saying that, this thing called willpower, they make it seem like such a mythical thing,
Uh-huh.
but honestly, we all have a certain level of willpower.
Right.
It's almost like an energy store. Say if you're on a diet, Caesar,
Right.
and say you've been working all day and you
Mhm.
had a shitty day, like you're a server, right?
Mhm.
Somebody's being so rude to you,
Right. Yeah.
and the day is not going good. You didn't get enough tips that day. Everything's
Yeah.
piling on.
Uh-huh.
And you in itself, for you not to, blow your head, not blow your head, but have a temper tantrum, or just, lose your cool,
Yeah.
that takes willpower in itself, right? So
Right.
the willpower is kind of, it depletes,
Right.
and then you're on a diet, and at the end of the day, you're like, man, I just got home right now. I deserve this pizza,
Yeah.
and you had the pizza.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
because you ran through a lot of your willpower.
Right.
So I
To not
mean,
cuss that
to
mofo
not, yeah,
out.
exactly, it's so you can actually deplete your willpower.
Right.
It's almost, one, you gotta train yourself to save that willpower in certain moments,
Mhm.
and in terms of bad habits, to not trigger that bad habit, or
Right.
or that willpower. So it's a lot of things that
Yeah.
go with it.
It's that reminds me of during my semesters when I'm in school, I say no to everything. Um and that's just something that I do
Yeah,
just
yeah.
because just
That's
because
good strategy, bro.
just because like I do want to do that stuff, but if I
But
have it
then,
that like I
yeah,
will say no to everything, then it's like what you're saying. It's like I don't deplete. something out of myself.
Exactly. And you don't put yourself in that situation too where you can get triggered.
Yeah,
Because a lot of
exactly.
we do is subconscious.
Right?
I'm just literally just going by my book. It's called Habits, guys. I don't know what
Uh-huh.
the author is, but I'll probably put it up here because it's such a good book. It's called Habits. But
Habits.
there's so
Mhm.
much that goes into a habit and a
Yeah.
good habit and breaking a bad habit.
Yeah.
So it's like if you're not putting yourself in that position, then one, you're decreasing the likelihood of you going out and being what is it called tempted to go ahead
Right.
and do that bad habit or something that you're not trying to do right now because you have other responsibilities.
Right.
So
And you know what's interesting? I think a neuron in your brain, it makes stronger connections and it is faster, right? Every time you repeat something, obviously,
yeah, yeah.
right? But if you go down into like the biological level, every time you repeat an action, there's these things called myelin sheets
Okay.
around your, I think it's around your neuron. And every time you commit that action, the signal to connect other neurons to other neurons gets stronger because that myelin sheath keeps on wrapping itself around the neuron. So the more myelin sheaths you have around a neuron, then the quicker it is for you to make that action.
Yeah,
So
it's almost on autopilot.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Exactly.
I read a stat somewhere about like a certain percentage of what we do is subconscious.
And it makes sense.
Because it's just like it's such a habit and like it goes back to like there's something called an old brain and a new brain
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
where
Yeah.
our old brain is basically us prehistoric times just looking to survive, right? So
Yeah.
we're hunting and then we're just eating, so we're on constant survivor mode.
Uh-huh.
That's called our hot system, a
Okay.
part of our brain.
Yeah.
And then as we evolve, we become more, knowledgeable, and this new brain is able for us to actually make conscious decisions where we can
Right.
plan something out.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? I think it's best for me to clean my place first,
Yeah.
then go and get a workout and come back and do this. That's your new brain, making us being advanced, being able to make decisions for ourselves and calculate it.
Huh.
But sometimes, we often get kind of caught in our old ways of, we're just here for survival. We're just,
Right.
eating bad and just
Yeah. Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
not making conscious decisions or it's just
Yeah.
we're just on bad habits.
And it makes sense because this is new.
Yeah,
This
right?
is new,
This is
right?
fairly new.
Because like when the hell in our evolution did we have to think about getting a couch?
Yeah, no,
You
for
know what
real
I'm
though.
saying? Like getting the
Yeah.
money to get a couch or getting the money for the future, like planning for retirement and shit.
Yeah,
Like
all that.
like I think back then you just pop out like 10 babies and those 10 babies would take care of you.
Literally.
Nowadays they're like those 10 babies are gone doing their own shit, who knows
Yeah, man.
what, and then you have to
Everything
worry about
constantly
yourself,
changes.
you know?
Everything constantly changes.
But yes, I think there is like an instinct, right, to do certain things. And
And that
then,
that is crazy. It comes from like years of like just not even years. Well, yeah, years of just you doing something that you've known for like
yeah,
the rest of your life. And we can even simplify it to just how we were raised, right?
right.
You know,
Yeah, that's true.
me, I always bring up the situation where I've been spoiled
Uh huh.
because my mother is,
I know,
loved me
bro.
from day one. Yeah,
I know.
I'm spoiled up
Your
there
mom fucking treats you like
like
baby
a
numero
king.
uno.
Yeah, like a king.
Yeah,
And
dude.
she gave me
She
everything.
treats me like a king, dude. She's like,
My
"Oh,
mom's a
hi,
loving
Cesar."
person. Yeah, my mom's a very loving
Yeah,
person.
yeah, yeah. Super
And
sweet.
yeah, but that kind of wrapped me in a blanket
Uh
of
huh.
comfortability
Yeah.
and no sense of urgency because
Uh huh.
behind the curtains, my mom was working 2 jobs,
Right.
but she always made it seem like it wasn't that big of a deal.
Yeah.
But we're still being low income.
Uh
So
huh.
I just being glad I'm able to be a self-aware person to pull behind those curtains and understand, whoa, this is not right. Let me go ahead and step up. But
Yeah.
I'm constantly battling that bad habit of me kind of like
Uh huh.
being spoiled. So I'm always trying to, get out of it and get out
Right.
of it. That's what forced me to move out
Yeah.
and do things for myself because my mom wouldn't let me wash a dish. You know,
Oh yeah.
my mom wouldn't let me make my bed.
Yeah.
Like, so
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
had to go ahead. Me had to understand these are necessary.
Yeah.
It may
You
seem
need to
like
fucking go out there and wash your own plates.
bruh, it just may seem like the bare minimum,
Yeah. Uh huh.
but I feel like that can lead to something greater if I can do
Right.
these basic things and if I have a good structure around me.
Yeah. Just being self-reliant, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, but that it just goes back to how I was brought up, right? It's up to us to change those habits.
What made you? How is it that you realized that? When were you like, oh shit? Like I was
A long
spoiled.
time, bro. A long time. It took me a lot to get out of it.
Right,
Right.
yeah. But because you weren't aware.
No, I was aware.
Oh, you were
I was
aware.
aware. And
Uh-huh.
so in my first podcast, I list off my greatest strength and my greatest weakness.
Uh-huh.
My greatest strength is I was aware. My
Okay.
greatest weakness is my procrastination and my self-discipline. But
Oh,
those
yeah.
they both cancel each other out,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
they're deeply rooted with each other,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Because like I said, I grew up spoiled.
Yeah.
So that's a bad habit on my end.
Uh-huh.
But thankfully, I'm self-aware to understand that this isn't right or this isn't what I should be doing.
Right.
But it's up to me to just grind it out, right? No matter how
Yeah.
bad I want to just it's cool. It's so fun here.
Yeah, dude.
I like it here.
I
It's
don't
warm here.
gotta
I don't
I
gotta
don't
do
got shit to
shit.
do.
But it was just that constant battle between me trying to get out of it and so it's still a work in progress for me.
Oh, for sure. I don't think
Mhm.
it ever stops,
Yeah, I
dude.
don't think
Because
so.
like,
Well, it may be, depending on like how hard I can take it,
yeah.
but it's constant battle.
Yeah, because I deal with the same stuff too, because you always know what's right, A
Mhm.
part of you always knows what's right, unless you're a psychopath.
Yeah.
Um, then there's no right or wrong. But a part of you knows what's right. The thing is, like, getting yourself to do the right is one
It's
thing,
one
and
thing.
realizing the right is another thing. I feel
Same thing.
like,
Easier said than done, right? That's what
oh,
it
for
all is.
sure, for sure. But I think it's what's interesting is how is it that you become self-aware of your situation where you didn't even know. Like, for example, um like back to the topic of school,
Mhm.
right? When I was going to school, I was going to community college for about a year, and I just didn't know what the hell I was gonna do, and I was like, yeah, just flying by. And I wasn't aware. I wasn't aware of this, of what I'm about to say. I wasn't aware that I had a fear, you know?
Okay.
And I was disguising that fear by ignoring, you know, what I had to do.
Yeah, I
And
agree with you.
yeah, and I think I was making up excuses of why I wasn't, you know, doing what I had to do, which was math, you know? You
Yo,
know?
that's were you good at math?
No, fuck no.
Dude, you're like me if I actually wanted to get good at math.
Yeah,
Bro,
you
because
know?
I sucked at math.
I when I went to college, I went in there. At first, I had a Saturday school and I didn't do shit in that class, and I freaking failed it, you know? But, then I came back and then I was like, "Let me start from the basics." And literally, dude, I was doing pre-algebra. Like, literally, like, I was learning how to, like, like, are you gonna multiply first, or are you gonna add first, or are you gonna multiply first or divide first, you
Yeah.
know? And fortunately, I knew some stuff coming out of high school, but I didn't know everything that I was supposed to
Yeah,
know.
yeah. Same here, bro.
And, I think that's important, I think everybody needs to start from the basics if you're gonna learn something,
Something, absolutely.
because if you don't, then it's just gonna create more barriers for you to learn newer and newer things that build upon each other.
Easily. You always gotta go back to the basics.
Yeah. So, going back to the topic of what I was afraid of math, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
And I didn't realize it until I was reading this Quora post.
Okay.
And
Talk to me.
there was like, well, the only reason you're afraid of math was because you're living a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Okay.
Yeah. And what that means is like you keep on saying you're not good, so you won't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you're just
And then
afraid of putting in the work to get good.
yeah, bro. And
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, I was this is me at night. I was like, I was scrolling and then I put it down and I was like, that's fucking true.
That was
That's
it for
fucking
you? That
true.
was it for you?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Damn.
I was like, I am living a self-fulfilling prophecy because I'm saying,
I get okay, that just
yeah,
hit me. Wow. Okay, I
yeah,
do know what you're saying now.
yeah.
That makes sense.
Because I am saying that I am not good at it, it gives me an excuse to not try it.
Yeah.
And
Hence, making your own bed and your own downfall for why you're
exactly.
not good at
So
math. Well, okay, that just
after,
hit me.
yeah, after that point, I made it a goal to prove myself wrong. So con- from pre-algebra all the way to Cal 2, I made it a goal to, okay. Fortunately, I was able to pass with Yeah, like Cal 2 is my hardest class. That's the one that I did not get an A in.
Okay.
But every class after before Calculus 1, I was getting A's in it just because I wanted to prove the point that it doesn't matter if you're good or not at something. You know, you could develop the skill and develop a certain love for it. And in the end, once I got good, that's when I started to like it.
That's dope.
So I think that's important to say because everybody thinks that you're supposed to choose a career or something based off of what you like.
Yeah, that's true.
But the thing is, like, you're never going to like something if you're bad at it.
That is very true.
So if you develop the skill of getting good at something, then eventually you'll like it.
Yeah.
So I think that was probably the most important insight of my life because that has guided me through every fucking math class, every physics class, every programming class, every fucking who knows whatever class that I have upcoming. And that has driven me to the point where I am comfortable being, stupid,
Okay. That makes
you know?
sense.
Like I'll be the dumb guy in that class, dude. I'll go up to the smartest kid and I'll be like, yo, like, what the fuck is this? You know? And then they'll be
Yeah.
like, oh, it's this and this and this. I'm like, all right, for sure. All right. And then like once you get comfortable being stupid, like everybody else is gonna come for you to help because you're probably the only person that could explain it to somebody who doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah. We've been
Right.
there.
So anyways, that's that.
No, that's
Yeah,
that's
bro.
that's a real deal though, because
Yeah.
it's just truth be told, guys, at the
Yeah.
end of the day, he literally went from not really caring about school as much
No.
to a switch where it
Yeah.
was instant studying every day,
It was a complete
a
180 for
complete
sure.
180, and I was like, "Whoa."
Yeah.
Like, he just did that,
Yeah, yeah. I
and
honestly, like, I don't remember changing. I don't remember thinking, like, I think it's important to know that when you try to change something about yourself, it isn't really something so conscious,
yeah, yeah,
you know? Like, you aren't thinking, like, I'm gonna go change myself. Sometimes, like, life just changes you,
I see.
you
Yeah,
know?
hey, that's a good way to put it.
And the less obviously, the less friction you have, the easier it is for you to glide, you know? And I think the more like what Kanye said, I always say this to my wife, you try hard, you die hard,
Okay.
you know? Because you could try so hard at something. You're running, you're running, you're running, you're running, you're running, you're running. But then you're gonna be exhausted because you're
That's true.
trying so hard.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, take it easy.
Ease
Yeah.
your way into it, huh?
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
I'm on that end too. I'm a very
Uh-huh.
cold turkey person with it, and that's
Okay,
just how
yeah.
I am. Just because
Right. Yeah.
everybody learns differently, but yeah, sometimes if I don't just go straight into it, probably won't do it.
Right.
And but I had Kingsley on this,
Mhm.
on last week, not last week, but yeah, I think it was last week.
Mhm.
I had Kingsley on, and I was talking to him. I was like, honestly, Kingsley, I'm just interviewing him. I'm like, yo,
Mhm.
Kingsley, like, what are your goals and stuff like that? And he's like, I'm just probably trying to do this and that.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what, Kingsley, I feel like you're just flowing through life, aren't you? He's like,
Right.
yeah, I'm not trying to force anything.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to be where I'm wanted. You
Right.
know,
Okay.
and that was a cool insight for me too.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm
Yeah.
just trying to learn different insights. That's
And
a good way to put it. If you
right.
just run sometimes and you're more likely to get burned out.
True.
I actually have another great example.
Mhm.
So I told you about 75 hard, right?
Yeah.
Me and my girlfriend were doing 75 hard together. I think we kind of failed day 18, I believe, 17 or 18,
Okay.
right? And I think she failed one day
Uh-huh.
prior to me,
Uh-huh.
or 2 or 3 days prior to when I failed, and then we're starting all over. Um, it was because I had a sense of like this is gonna be tough. Like I
Mm.
already knew this was gonna be tough, and like the first week, I was
Yeah.
like very like reluctant to do all this, but I was doing it,
Yeah.
because I understood this was gonna be a process, and this is about changing habits and breaking habits.
Uh-huh.
And she was like, "Let's go. I'm ready." Like,
Uh-huh.
and she was like, I remember I'd be like, "Dang, like day 7."
Yeah.
I was like, "Do you think we can make it to day 14?" She's like, "What? Is that?" So we're
Yeah.
gonna make it through the whole 72 days
Oh
and
my
this and that.
god.
And then sure enough,
Uh,
I like, I was, I was, limping to the finish line, but then I started getting a groove and I was
right.
onto it.
Uh-huh.
And then she was on the decline. She
Okay.
was on decline, and then
Yeah.
she forgot to
Yeah.
read a
Uh-huh.
day, and like her gallon of water wasn't that, so
Uh-huh.
we lost there, and I was still going, but I feel like it had to do with her kind of like just going like so high and
Right.
not
Right.
underestimating it to a sense. And then I was like, okay, I understand how hard it is, but let's just keep
Right.
going, and it got easier. But then I forgot to read like 2 days, 3 days after,
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
we
Right.
both ended up just crashing.
Right.
But that's what comes with it. It's just that mental fortitude.
And what's interesting about that is that I think so it's easier for somebody to continue a task if the if you don't spike your excitement before
Mhm.
and after.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you keep the excitement in between, which means that, the excitement from doing the task,
Yeah, yeah.
then I think it's more likely for you to continue doing it just because the act, the dopamine that you're getting from that action is with the action and not before the action or after the
After, yeah.
action.
So that's a great way to put it because again, on the book that I'm reading called Habits,
Yeah.
it's basically saying us as human, we often tend to take the reward in front of us
Uh-huh.
than we are to take the reward in the future, basically of changing yourself, which means, the drinking, right?
Right.
Or, the satisfaction of eating sweets.
Hmm.
But then we take that reward right in front of us and then we tend to feel bad about it, like
Okay.
moments after,
Yeah.
rather than we are very short-sighted in the sense of, okay, if I do this
Hmm.
6 months from now, the rewards are endless, or it's going to pay so much dividends for me
Yeah.
later in the future. For some reason we're not able to really see that, and that's why a
Right.
lot of people don't really achieve their goals, or a
Right.
small percentage of us can be disciplined to go ahead and achieve that goal in terms of you going getting a job and
Uh-huh.
going to school for that, right?
Uh-huh.
And have you heard of the marshmallow test?
Marshmallow test is that when they like have the kids
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
choose if they want a marshmallow
yeah, so
now or later, and then
exactly.
they
So
double?
exactly, that's
Yeah.
exactly what it is. So they could bring a bunch of kids in on a study, and they say, "Sit in front of this marshmallow. Don't eat it
Mhm.
until I get back. If you don't eat it when I get back, I'll give you 2."
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And, a few kids did eat the marshmallow, so they laughed,
Uh-huh.
a few kids didn't.
Yeah.
And, and they did a whole bunch of studies on how there's, discipline,
Yeah.
happen later down the line.
Mhm.
And there was tricks on, like, on how the kids didn't manage to not eat the marshmallow. They would, like,
Right.
sniff it, and they
Uh-huh.
would, like, touch it, but they wouldn't go ahead and they wouldn't, what's it called, eat the marshmallow, while
Right.
other kids who ate the marshmallow just stared at the marshmallow and ate
Mhm.
it, because
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
they didn't find ways around it.
Right. I think there was, I think I remember something like that. There was like kids that would just not even look at it. They just,
Yeah,
like,
they
turned
would,
around,
yeah.
and that just proves the point of, like,
Avoid
they're
the
not even
temptation. Yeah.
using their discipline at all.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
just, making sure they're not even in that environment.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly, exactly.
it's a whole
What
bunch
was
of
I gonna
tests.
say?
Yeah, I forgot
I was
too.
gonna say, I forgot actually. I was gonna say something about
You were talking about, the action, you gotta have the excitement before and after.
right,
Uh-huh.
yeah, yeah. Oh, it was this, it was this. So you know how you mentioned that, you know, it's hard to continue doing habits because we don't realize the amount of value that you're gonna get for it from the future,
From the future. Yes, it's
right?
hard for us to, come to
But
grips with that, yeah.
do you think people should, you know, should people think of that when they are practicing the habit of what it could be?
No, they're supposed a lot of people will tell you, and I agree too, because it's just you gotta fall in love with the journey, right?
Right,
You gotta fall in love with the journey and what you're doing at hand. That's the only real way you're gonna get to where you wanna go,
right,
because, like I said, us not being able to see that far into the future and it seems so long,
Mhm.
One, just take it a step at a time,
Mhm.
right? But just try to do your best to enjoy it. Like you said, you gotta have some love for what you do, or
Yeah.
or you'll develop that love for it.
Yeah,
Once you're getting better at something, or
for
you can
sure.
learn to appreciate it, right?
Right, 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 yeah.
So
Yeah, developing a love for something or gratitude for it will definitely make it, well, easier to do and to enjoy the process a lot more than it, at least from what it used to feel like, right?
absolutely.
Especially if it's challenging, then if there's always a challenge after, um, like let's say you have a um something that you hate doing. For example, for me right now is running. I hated running.
Yeah, and you just said you're running now,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. I'm running a lot now. Um, but I think I hated running, but I started small. I just did like okay, like I'd do a 10-minute session, then a
Mhm.
20-minute session, a 30-minute session, and then after I hit the 30-minute session, I was like, all right, this is cool.
Did you
And
ever
then
experience that runner's high they be talking
I
about?
did.
1, 2, 3. Sorry, guys, we got cut off as usual, but we're gonna get back to what we were talking about. And that is
Yeah.
my boy Caesar experiencing that runner's high,
Yeah, I
right?
did. No, I think you know what? I think I just experienced it just these couple 2 times that I ran.
Uh,
Um, because I start off with like a nice slow jog and I practice like good foot placement, good posture and everything like that. And then there's this I could go to the point where I could run most of the time. And I continuously run and then there's this point where I'm like tired.
okay,
And then out of nowhere, you feel like you could just go more. And then,
really?
yeah, you feel like you could just do more. And then for some reason, like I just amp up the speed in that. And then you just feel so good running. I don't know, maybe it's just something natural that just happens like as a human.
Yeah,
Um,
a sense of euphoria, which
yeah,
I
yeah.
actually,
And
I've
it's
never.
after after that run, like, you don't feel tired at all, like, you feel like you could just go, and that's when I do, like, my actual workout was after that run and all that, because I feel like I do have the energy to do it,
Yeah,
but after I work like, let's say I work out first and then I run, like, I don't wanna do that
that makes
shit.
sense. You're all
Yeah,
fatigued and stuff.
so I think that's, yeah, I think I like starting my workout like that with a run because, it gets all my dopamine spiked up and I get that runner's high, and then I go work out and shit like that.
That's dope.
So yeah, but anyways, going back to you know, developing that love for something and the appreciation, I don't think it will come right away, but like you've mentioned, it becomes a habit, and when something becomes a habit, I think it's very important to, like I mentioned, not start too strong.
Yeah,
Um
no good balance.
yeah, like even lower than what you think you
Yeah,
should, right? Because I feel like we expect so much of ourselves
we really do,
sometimes,
man.
and we overestimate what we can do
Yeah,
because we want to achieve the best for us, right? Um,
in such a short period of time, huh?
yeah,
Sometimes it's
yeah,
so weird.
yeah. But yeah,
Yeah, it is
that's
what
what
it
we
is.
do,
Yeah.
humans.
But let's go ahead and transition to we remember you talking about how you gave me the criticism on the podcast.
Right.
You've given criticism to one of our close friends,
Yeah.
Tootie the One.
Oh yeah.
You're
Yo,
even in one of his songs, or you're in a lot of his last album, actually,
really?
on Soundbites. You've never heard of it?
I've heard on some,
Yeah, watch. Let's go
some.
ahead and play some right now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's actually so dope. I'm like, damn, see this guy. You're out here just giving not knowledge, but you were just happy on how, like his progression.
No, yeah. I
You
love
know?
encouraging my friends when they're doing the right thing because that's what you need, you know?
Yeah, man, it's dope.
Like nobody really tells you you're doing good,
I actually
and
gotta figure
that's I
out
think
which
that's
one.
important.
Let me go ahead and play this one. It's about to end. It's not this one. Is it this one? Not probably this one either. Shout out Tootie the One, man. Go ahead and listen to his
It's
latest
so good.
album, 2, the deluxe.
Uh,
Yeah, man. Which one is it, bro? Where you're on it? Trying to figure it
I'm
out.
not sure. I think it might be one of the intros.
Right?
I'm pretty sure because that's when you
Maybe
have
it's
people
no
speak.
option.
I don't have no options. Thinking
Yeah, right here. Let's go ahead and just listen to that last part.
All your shit is sick. And I'm glad you found, what you like to put out, bro. Because that's hard to find.
I didn't hear this one.
Yeah.
Exploit that. Exploit that to the fullest, bro. Because there's some motherfuckers out there that are just doing random shit.
Yeah, man. So how do you feel that you really influence us? We take your criticism,
I think
we
think
value your opinion.
oh man, that's to me that's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
To me that's awesome because it shows that, that you care about what I have to say, but I think it goes vice versa, right? Because the only reason why you care about what I have to say is because I tell you what you need to hear.
Yeah. Facts.
And sometimes honesty can get you nowhere,
Yeah.
because uh, that's another topic, but sometimes honesty can get you somewhere where you could probably patch the potholes here and there.
Yeah.
And like I mentioned to you, I gave you certain criticism that could help you make it just a little better.
Absolutely.
I'm not criticizing the whole thing because I don't if it was a bad idea, I would tell you. Um but lightheartedly, of
Yeah,
course,
of course.
right?
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to be a dick about it.
Yeah.
But it's always important if you want to see somebody succeed, you can't just tell them that they're doing good all the time because if they're doing good all the time, then that means they're doing good all the time when they're doing bad.
Yeah. And there's no room for growth there.
Yeah,
Never.
exactly. So, um, for my friends to appreciate my criticism, it means a lot to me because that means that it might have had an impact on what they did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if they appreciated it, then that means it was true.
Yeah.
And maybe they knew it and didn't think it was a big deal, or they haven't seen it at all. In this case, you knew
Yeah.
what you had to
More
do,
so,
right?
yeah.
But I was the one to pinpoint you and
It's good to hear
reassure
it from
you.
outside,
Yeah, yeah,
outside
yeah.
looking in.
Exactly.
And that's just honestly it should also give you a sense of, you know, it should make you feel good. At the end of the day, you're just a good person,
Yeah.
and we're
Thank you.
just
Thank
good
you.
friends, man. And that
Yeah,
should
yeah,
uh confirm that for you and
yeah,
stuff on that nature.
yeah. And what's cool is that you could use that. I I ask my wife sometimes, like, because you could never really see a third person perspective of you
Yeah.
and an honest opinion of you. And I think when you have a significant other that could tell you what others see is it's very important because it could reassure you on things that you are and that you could continue to be that you're proud of. But since they're your significant other, then they know that dirty side of you, bro.
Oh, yeah,
You
absolutely.
know? So they
Absolutely.
could so they could totally pinpoint that as well. And I mean, it's just you gotta appreciate the criticism
You
because
have
it is
to.
the
You have
truth.
to. Yeah, you gotta be willing to. If you're not listening to the people that appreciate you, how are you
Mhm.
gonna expect to listen? How are you expect to please? Not please, but how are you expect to get a good reaction out of the stuff you want to put out? And
Right,
that's just from random strangers.
right, and
So you always want to have that inside source or that inside help.
right.
Whenever you can get it. I don't get it as often,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah,
So whenever I can, why not?
yeah,
You know?
exactly. And it just as, um, it's important to, criticize somebody, like, what you did, the voice, recording that, Gil did there. Well, that was a message that I sent to him, and that was just showing, you know confirming that he's doing the right
Yeah,
things.
absolutely.
And I think it's just as important to, you know, do that as it is
Yeah,
to
yeah.
criticize
It's a
too.
command. The
Yeah,
hard work and all that. Absolutely.
exactly. Because that's just a little push of like, all right, that's good shit, dude,
Hell yeah.
and continue that good shit.
He's killing it, man.
Yeah, he's
He's
awesome.
killing it.
He's
He said
super
coming out
cool.
with a project soon. He's just work. I've talked to him. I've been on the phone with him. He's truly just doing his best to perfect it. He's
Yeah.
not. He had a original date,
Uh-huh.
But then he, pushed it off, called him. I was like, how's that going? He said he just needs a little more time. And that's sometimes,
He's oh,
I can't
man.
wait for it.
He's a great artist.
Great artist, man. Two to the one, man, on
Tootie
Apple
the one.
Podcasts. I'm not Apple Podcasts, what's wild. Two to the one on Apple Music, SoundCloud, wherever you get your music, go ahead and check out Two to the One now.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and end this podcast. The
Oh, thank
conversation
you.
can go on for hours,
No, yeah, for
clearly.
sure. Yeah.
And like I said, whenever you want to come back on here, you seem like a really good co-host. We might have to keep doing this a little more often if you're down.
I'd love to, man.
Every summer though, because you
Yeah,
got
every
school.
summer. It's in seasons.
Yeah, in seasons. Caesar in seasons. But brother, thank you so much. I
No, thank
appreciate
you, man, for having me by.
And love you.
Love you too, dog.
Keep doing you. Wish you all the success. Hopefully we can get a gym sesh while you're
Oh,
out
yeah.
here. And we're gonna go ahead
Always.
and take it to the end where we just vibe out, right? What
I
else
love
can we do to
vibing.
vibe out?